Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us here today. I'm your host, Leah Masten, for Top Industry Professionals Tip International Radio Podcast, where we are showcasing prestigious top professionals from all industries all over the globe to share their experience and stories of success. My amazing co-host is here with me, and we're so honored to have her as a host of the show. Originally from Namibia, she was crowned Miss Universe in 1992. Please welcome Michelle McLean.
Hi there, Leah. Hi, Chief. It's great to be here today. Chief, thank you for joining us. And Leah, great to see you again. Gosh, it seems like it's been a long time. We've all been on the road for a while, but to have with us today a very, very special guest, we are so honored, all the way from Port St. Lucie, Florida, who is a leader and hero in the law enforcement industry. He's dedicated more than 4 decades of his life's work as a proficient officer of the law. From the Air Force to narcotics, special weapons and tactics, chief investigator on several large multi-state organized crime conspiracy investigations, search and rescue, and now helping thousands of families help with preventing their loved ones from wandering. He was just recently honored at IAOTP's annual awards gala at the Plaza Hotel in New York City, where he was selected as Top CEO of the Year and for the Lifetime Achievement Award. Good gracious me, well, founder and CEO of Chief Director General of Lifesaver International. Please welcome everybody, Chief Gene Saunders. Chief, welcome once again.
How are you today? And thank you for having me. It's an honor.
So happy to have you on. Now, Chief Saunders, tell us about your journey. You have dedicated over 4 decades to the law enforcement industry and have been a global expert in so many aspects of the field. Tell us, what got you involved in this industry, and was this always the career path that you wanted to lead?
Well, I mean, in a very candid answer, no, this wasn't the path that I had originally started out in. Originally, my goal was to go into the military, stay in the military until I retired, and then we'd see what happened. Well, I went into the National Guard, Army Reserves, and in that interim, I got very interested in law enforcement. So I ended my active duty tour, and I started looking at law enforcement. I joined the Chesapeake Police Department in Virginia in 1968, which for you two would be eons ago, I understand.
It may seem like that.
Mentioning it so long ago. And I spent 33 years with them. And the more that I did and the more things I got involved with, of course, the more interested I became, the more passionate about it. Well, as I started nearing retirement, I said, well, for one thing, I need a purpose. I can't just stop. What am I going to do when I leave law enforcement? I can't stay in it forever. So I got interested in search and rescue and was involved with the Sheriff's Office search and rescue and even humanitarian relief on several hurricane missions. Well, that morphed into me participating in a lot of Alzheimer's searches. Well, we weren't very successful. We didn't understand the methods and the procedures we needed because it was different from searching from what might be characterized as a normal person. I kept thinking there's got to be a better way to do this. We need a better way to do this. We're expending a lot of manpower, a lot of time, a lot of money, and we're not successful. And I frankly got very disheartened and tired of having to notify families. Either we were suspending the search or I'm sorry, but this search has a tragic ending. So that's when I came up with the idea of, well, we can do this for wildlife. We can track them. Why can't we do it for people we know may wander and become lost? Why can't we have this on our side, have this advantage that if they become lost, we can tune into a transmitter, track to where they are, and bring them back home quickly with less manpower. So that's really how I got involved with Project Lifesaver. And then when I retired from the police department, I just morphed right over and into full-time with Project Lifesaver. So that's where it all came from.
Well, when you talk about that, you've obviously helped almost 3,700 people be rescued through Project Lifesaver. So what was the most rewarding aspect of this project for you?
Well, there's actually several. First off, I'm still involved with law enforcement. I work with them every day, so I've never really totally left that cocoon, so to speak. I'm still, dealing with cops and deputy sheriffs and other law enforcement because they're the ones that are doing the program in the field. We train them, we support them. We have a conference every year that they're invited to where we bring in subject matter experts. And then probably the most rewarding was when I was involved with it on a day-to-day active basis in the field, locating somebody safely and bringing them back home. There's probably nothing that can replace the feeling you get when you reunite a loved one with their families, especially when that family. I think you have to remember when you lose a loved one and they become lost, can you imagine the feeling the family has? No control, don't know where they are, don't know what their fate is, don't know what's going to happen to them. And now we're able to intercede, locate them quickly, bring them back home. And just the feeling they get and we get is immeasurable. And then extending that into getting after action reports from all these agencies that go out and make these rescues, that becomes very satisfying that, we've done something that's good here. It's helping people and it's helping these agencies.
I have a quick question about your technology. I'm sure since starting this, you've seen, the evolution of technology and how it probably has helped make what you do more efficient. Tell us about that.
Well, we were really using technology that is not new. This technology has been around since World War II. This is the same way that the US caught spies. They used to lock onto their radio transmissions and track to where they were coming from. Well, that evolved, and then wildlife, a lot of the wildlife control people started tagging wildlife and tracking them through radio transmissions, where they were, what they're doing, where they're going, when they come back. So all we did was take a look at it and say, well, if we can do that with a bird, or we can do that with another animal, why can't we do it with a person if we feel like they may become lost? So I got with a company. They helped me in designing a bracelet that could be worn. It had a radio transmitter in it. So this transmitter sends out a frequency transmission that we have trained teams to be able to receive that one and then track to it. So it's not what you would call, high speed. In the service, we call it high speed, low drag technology. It's very old, stable, reliable technology. And when you're dealing with saving lives, that's what you want. You don't want something that has a failure point, and at any time it's liable to quit on you, or it's going to give you a false reading. You want to know that you can depend on this technology. Mm-hmm. So it's not new, but it's good.
I was reading on your website that the average recovery time is 30 minutes, which is 95% better than people or agencies not using the program. So that's just so impressive and incredible what you guys are doing.
Well, I really think the guys that are out in the field doing this, they make the program, they do a wonderful job. And when you can bring a loved one home in a matter of minutes instead of hours and hours and hours, because if you're searching for someone that has a cognitive disorder, such as Alzheimer's or autism, the clock is not working with you, it's working against you. And there's no telling what they may get into or what may befall them before you can get to them. So time is of the essence. You want to get into them quickly, locate them, get them back to their home.
And how does a person listening sign up a loved one for Project Lifesaver?
Well, the first thing they ought to do is go to our website and check and see if their agency has Project Lifesaver. If it does, then they can contact that agency and ask for the Project Lifesaver coordinator. They can then get them signed into the program to where they can cover them should something happen. If their agency doesn't have it, then contact us and we will help them in persuading their agency to start the program, because it's a plus for everybody. I've had sheriffs and chiefs tell me that the best program they ever started was Project Lifesaver. So, that's been very flattering to me and very satisfying. So.
Can I ask, is it only available in the United States, or would this be rolled out around the world?
It is only available in Canada and the US right now. Now, we have talked to the UK several times. Our problem with some of this is the radio frequencies we can use in other countries, because there is a technology thing as to what countries can use what bands. So we're trying to work through that now, because we do have, well, we've had South America, we've had the UK, we've had Ireland, Scotland. We're in talks with them right now as to how we might be able to establish the program there. And hopefully we'll be able to work something out in the very near future.
Gosh, looking at the wall behind you, you certainly have won quite a few awards, and it looks like several accolades, which just speaks to your illustrious career. You've also been featured on news outlets, TV shows, the Discovery Channel, FBI Files, featured in magazines. Last year, you were honored at IAOTP's annual awards gala at the Plaza Hotel for your selection as top CEO of the year. You appeared on the famous Reuters billboard in Times Square, and you graced the front cover of Tip magazine. You were also selected to have a chapter dedicated to you in IAOTP's Top 50 Fearless Leaders publication coming out next month. Congratulations. All of this is so impressive and so deserving. What would you say has been the highlight of your career, or the most memorable experience that you've had to date?
Well, first off, thank you very much for the flattering remarks. I'm not, even with these awards, I'm not always so sure I'm deserving. I think it's more the people that are doing the program that are deserving, and I'm just kind of out there representing them. I would, when you talk about what is the most rewarding thing, I have been very fortunate in my career. I've participated in a lot of different things. And at any one time, I would have told you, well, that was the most rewarding thing I did. So I think I would have to just kind of sum it up in saying that, God has been good to me, and everything that he's allowed me to do has been rewarding to me personally. My law enforcement career, the things I did there, my military service, Project Lifesaver. So when you try to say, well, what's the one most rewarding thing, I think that would be very hard for me to do. And I would like to just sum it up as saying, my life has been very rewarding to me. And, I'm thankful that I was able to do the things I've been able to do and be allowed to do the things I was able to do. And hopefully they've been beneficial.
Well, you seem like an incredibly humble person, even though you've achieved so much. And with all your successes, I mean, you've also been a sought after speaker, and you're an author of so many articles and books. So tell us about that.
Well, it was one of those things, we have a program. Okay, people want to know about it. And so I started getting requests. Well, how about writing this thing? And I'm not a writer. There was actually a book done on Project Lifesaver, and it turned into almost a biography, which that wasn't the intent. And I was asked if I wanted to write it. And I said, well, listen, I may have a lot of patience in a lot of areas, but writing is not one of them. But as far as articles, I felt like we need to get the word out. We need to let people know that this is here. It's available. How can you do it? And other things to let all these other agencies that are involved in these searches and all, give them some tips. If anything that I can say helps them find somebody quickly that may not be on the program, then to me, that's a good thing. So I went ahead and on request started writing some of these articles. And I described that just like I do the Project Lifesaver program. When I started it, it was just for one area. That's where I lived. Well, that horse got out of the pen, and I'm still chasing it. So one of these days, maybe I'll catch it, but I doubt it very seriously. So, when you talk about the articles and the TV things, that's how I feel about those too. If they ask me to come tell them about Project Lifesaver, I'm going to be there.
I love it. So you have just such a wealth of experience and you have worked in so many capacities. What would be some advice that you would give to someone starting out in the field?
Well, just based on my experience, I would say the very first thing is don't expect it all to land in your lap.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be hills, there's going to be valleys, there's going to be mountains. You need to be perseverant. You need to stay true to your goal and your dream and your idea. Walt Disney had a saying, and I really liked it. It was, if you can dream it, you can do it. But you got to stay with it. People and things are going to get in your way. And some of them are going to seem insurmountable, but they're not. There's always another way to do it. Always another way. So probably if I was to sum it up, I would steal a saying from the U.S. Navy SEALs, and that is never, ever, ever quit.
That's you're just so inspirational on so many levels, and obviously you live this in your life every day, so you live by example. But surely you must have some time for a little bit of fun, some hobbies. What do you do in your spare time?
Well, the last hobby I had was skydiving. My wife didn't like that too much.
What?
So,
did that get vetoed pretty quick?
well, anyway, finally, because I had been in the paratroops in the military, and we actually had a parachute unit as part of our search and rescue unit, and I was with that. And I could tell, based on some of the remarks she would make from time to time, that she didn't appreciate me jumping out of airplanes very much. So I kind of relegated my hobbies to a less dangerous sport, or I guess you could say that. I like to read. I like to watch movies. I like to do some travel with the wife. I like, the theme parks, not so much to do the rides, but just to kind of walk through them. I'm a people watcher. I like to watch people. I think you learn a lot by watching people. So I guess you could say those are kind of my hobbies. They're not, earth shattering. They're just kind of what I like to do.
That's so funny that you take something that's actually quite extreme and you turn it into fun. But I love that whole theme park idea. I also love observing people, sitting in cafes and just watching people walk by. It's really, really insightful in their lives.
The most fun I ever had was when I was on stakeouts at airports watching people.
Yeah.
It's really entertaining.
Yeah, endless entertainment. Speaking of entertainment, tell us a teeny bit about your TV roles. You've been on a couple of different TV series, FBI Files, Discovery. Tell us what you would like, which one you enjoyed most, or like what was most interesting.
Well, and all that came about by accident. I got a phone call one day from a studio in Suffolk, Virginia that does all of the series for the Discovery Channel, like the FBI Files, the New Prosecutors, the New Detectives, and the Untold Stories of the SEALs. And they called me and said, listen, we have this part. Would you come over here and do it? And I said, well, first off, I'm not an actor. Well, don't worry about it. No, okay, if you're not worried about it, I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went over there and I did this part as a detective. And then I said, well, so much for my acting career. Okay, I'm gone. Well, they kept calling me, and I got into really enjoying just being around them and doing it, and got to play a lot of different parts. I mean, I could be a Texas Ranger one day, a Pennsylvania State Trooper the next day, a Cleveland detective the next day, a commander of the Navy SEALs the next day. So, it just got to be a very enjoyable thing. And the food in the green room was great. I mean,
so that was the real draw, I'm guessing.
That was one of the big draws for me. Yeah. Because you go in there, you get your call for 11 a.m. in the morning. You may be in, 4 or 5 or 6 scenes. Well, they're spread out. So you may be there till 11 o'clock at night. Well, you got to have something to do. So you bring a book and you eat.
Those are the perks.
Yeah,
the perks of the business.
Yeah, of course.
Gosh, well, Chief, with all these successes, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? I mean, what would you like to achieve?
I think I would just like for Project Lifesaver to keep growing, to keep being successful, to, as you alluded to earlier, Leah, advance the technology, make it even better in any way that we can, make it even easier to use. So these are the things I would like to achieve now. And I think I would like to leave a legacy of Project Lifesaver, and that it is continuing, and the people involved in it are still doing the wonderful work that they do.
Well, Chief Saunders, it's been delightful having a conversation with you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
I have really enjoyed it, and thank you very much for having me.
Yes, thank you so much. And if anyone wants to get more information on Chief Saunders, you can visit www.projectlifesaver.org. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah,
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.